What's up, guys? Kirk Gibson here. Today I'm going to break down the Colombia USA women's game at the TEP tournament in Colombia earlier this year. It was a great game, and basically, if you're not familiar with the tournament, it's basically a scrimmage to the lead up for the World Ultimate Championships, which are in Australia, that are literally have started in this week. So the reason why I wanted to break down this game is I think that this is potentially going to be, I think it is going to be the biggest potential for a non-U.S. team to win one of the divisions. I think the USA men are very strong. I don't think they're going to get much competition from any of the other international teams. I think the mixed team is also just quite strong. Some of the international teams will load up their mixed teams to give them the best possible chance of medaling. And I think the women's division, the USA women, I think for sure are overall the most talented team. But Colombia has just been, they won the Club World Ultimate Club Championships in 2022 against a U.S. team, against Fury about 2 years ago. So and so they've got a lot of talent, and there's no doubt that they're one of the teams to watch. So I think that the women's side is going to be the biggest chance for an international team to take home a medal, and I think this is proof of what potentially the Colombian team is capable of. Now, I think the U.S. women's are going to be sharper by the end. I do think that they still have the strong advantage, but Colombia is just fun to watch, and they got the Cardenas sisters, Yina Cartagena. There's just a lot of talented players on the roster. So I'm going to just break down a couple of the components of this game. If you haven't seen it, highly suggest to go watch it. So let's jump into it right here. All right, so you're going to see it's 2-0. U.S. got off to a good start. Colombia has the disc on the goal line. Manuela has the disc right here. You've got Valeria over here, and they're basically kind of doing what they do. I think it's funny that they both kind of have similar tendencies. They're both trying to just get right next to the Frisbee and get the disc. I know exactly how that is. They know they're the most talented throwers, and the disc is with the disc in their hands is basically where you want the disc to be. So it's just funny that they have historically, Manuela was the defender, Valeria was the offensive player, and now they're just good at both. So anyway, so they're just kind of both trying to do the similar things here. So you see now Valeria gets it, and she throws a very bladey flick. And it's funny, the reason why I pointed this out is obviously Colombia does need to be strong on the goal line, no doubt. They're going to have to take advantage of the opportunities. You'll see it gets them in a big hole because they're not able to convert. But just watch Manuela's reaction right here. I'll just play it. She's basically telling Valeria, calm down. We don't need that. Hey, we got to be patient. And she's right. The irony is that Manuela will make a similar bladey throw that ends up being a turnover later in the game. So just kind of more of a funny moment, but her reaction, her emotion is right in the sense of got to be patient along the goal line. So the Colombia women, make sure that you are patient. If you're listening, make sure you're patient on the goal line, especially against the U.S. women's team. You're going to need to have strong conversion rates. All right, so it's 3-0 USA. You're going to see a nasty play by Claire Trope here. So Valeria is going to pick up the disc, and you're just going to see her get a nasty foot block right there, just straight up into the air. I just want to rewind that because that's actually So one thing I want to point out right here. So you're just going to watch the thrower here. So she's looking to get the disc to her teammate over here. The backhand release is going to be right out in front of her, closer to the thrower. This throw needs to be out here. If she could throw a backhand, but her foot then should be over here, so the release point is away from where the defender is. Doesn't move her foot. She could have thrown a flick, but if she does throw a backhand, she just needs to step away from where the defender is. So just a tip, if you choose throw a backhand, this was a little windy, and so sometimes it's easier to get that backhand into the wind, which is fine, but you got to just make sure you're doing it away from the marker because this is what can potentially happen. And in this type of situation, don't want to let that happen. Unfortunately, the U.S. doesn't capitalize on this with a short field, which is another thing that, both Colombia and the USA women in those short yardage kind of half field situations, the stronger they are, the greater chance it's going to allow them to take the game. All right, it's 3-1. Colombia has the disc, and Manuela just catches it, and she is going to throw a huck downwind. Receiver was somewhat open on the other side of the field, and I know it's a windy situation, but this was a theme for Manuela in this game. She throws 3 backhands that ended up in turnovers that, I would argue she potentially could have completed it, but she is certainly the one you want throwing them. But I think with her, just picking your chances, and when you do make those throws, make them count. You're going to need it against the USA women if Colombia is going to beat them because, again, she's got the throws. She's got all the tools here, but this one goes out of bounds. So there's a couple more down later in the game, but Manuela's deep hucks are going to need to be pristine if Colombia is going to keep up with the U.S. So it's 4-1 USA. One of the things I wanted to point out that I noticed on this point was that you're going to see Colombia look off a few backhand breaks, swing passes towards the upwind end zone. And, obviously there's some wind, so there could be some challenging parts to throwing it, but I do think if Colombia is going to stay with the U.S. women, being able to move the disc side to side is going to be really important. So you're going to see just one right here. She's got her teammate over here, and she's going to look that one off. And, Valeria's over here. They've got, obviously, talent on this side of the field. They choose to kind of go back to the 4 side. But, again, potential to open up the field. You're going to see it once more. She's got space to throw it out here. Doesn't throw it. Instead, chooses to go jam it back down the 4 side. Again, never a bad decision to throw it to Valeria. But you're going to see, again, just like it's super tight. Valeria makes a great catch under pressure. But they're expending certainly a lot of energy. And here's another one. So, in my opinion, Yini is one of the best throwers. And she looks this one off right here. And in my opinion, I think that would just be a great shot if she can get that. So she must have, felt the wind maybe was affecting it, but she obviously makes a great break right there, and they do end up scoring. But, for Colombia, they're certainly they've got a lot of superstars on that team. Being able to conserve energy against such a deep U.S. women's team is going to be key for them late in the tournament. I would imagine they're going to face off in the championship game. So next we've got Manuela with the disc. She just picks it up. She's basically working it, and she's just so tough to guard. And you're going to see her with it. And again, I talked about goal line efficiency is going to be huge. Certainly able to conserve energy. So you're going to see Manuela, such a good thrower. She's looking for the break and just throws it too far. Not able to get it. And you can see Manuela's pissed. She throws her hat, and I love the passion. She knows that she can make that throw and certainly wants that one back. But again, goal line efficiency is going to be so huge, especially for Colombia to be able to hang with the U.S. All right, so it's 4-2. Colombia's got the disc. You're going to see Manuela get it. So Mauricio, the Colombian coach right here, you see him just wave, hey, get downfield, go. So you're going to see this Colombian player right here. She's going to take off, and she's going to be the one that Manuela actually throws it to. But I mentioned that Manuela's ability to connect on some of her backhand hucks. Again, she had yards, she had space, and the earlier one I showed you and this one just land out of bounds. Now, there was some wind, but Manuela is definitely good enough to just keep that in bounds and at least give her receiver a shot. So the U.S. has generally held a 3-point margin basically since going up 3-0. Colombia's got the disc here, and you're going to see this is actually a really heads-up play by Valerie and just shows, how strong of a player she is. So obviously all these U.S. defenders are extremely strong. And so you're going to watch right here. So this Colombian offender is cutting in. They're open. Their defender is far off. And this U.S. defender recognizes that and says, ooh, I could potentially poach on this and maybe get a block. So you're going to see right here, both of the U.S. defenders are looking at the thrower. Valeria immediately recognizes this, and she's going to juke and take up field, and she's going to take all this space. This U.S. defender doesn't pick up on it quick enough, and Valeria now has a completely wide open play. So again, especially around the goal line, if you're going to switch, obviously it could have been a D if the Colombian thrower threw it, but she didn't and waited, and Valeria took advantage of that. So super heads-up play by Valeria on that. All right, so it's 11-9. This is a break chance for Colombia to make it within one, and Manuela is going to catch the disc right here. You're going to see her get it. Stall 1, stall 2, and she slings a blade flick. You can see the wind kind of take it a little bit, and oh my goodness, that was almost the most incredible catch I potentially have ever seen. That was like so killer. We're just going to play it here so you can see that replay. But I remember, anyways, let's see it here. So Manuela, early in the stall count, goes for it. She's trying to steal one. Watch this. I mean, that is just awesome. We're going to stop that so you can just get a good look at that. Look at that. I mean, incredible. Awesome catch. Mad props. Well, she didn't catch it, but just amazing effort there. But remember I told you earlier in the game that Manuel had gotten frustrated at Valeria for making that. She makes a very similar throw, and, obviously unfortunate, but just this is the key part of, hey, patience around the goal line for Colombia, I think, is going to be crucial. I think the U.S. women are going to be sharper in Australia. So Colombia being patient, they certainly can work it, but just making sure that they're being smart around the end zone line is going to be crucial. All right, so it's 12-9 USA, and you're going to see this is actually has nothing to do with the game, but just watch Valeria here. You're just going to see her go. Claire's guarding her, takes a hit, and you're going to see probably one of the coolest moments of Spirit and why Ultimate is awesome. You're basically going to see just an awesome moment of Spirit. She's helping Valeria looks like getting something out of her eye, which is just so cool to see. Just a amazing point of Spirit. Mega props to both of them, just showing great spirit. All right, so now we're going to watch. So Colombia scored 2 in a row. It's 12-9. Now it's 12-11. U.S. just needs to put this in and they'll win the game. And so you're going to see USA, moves it nicely. There's Anna Nazarov gets a nice pass. She's going to make a nice pass upfield right here. And watch Anna here. She's going to make a nice cut against Ina. She's going to go whoop right up there. Okay, so they're past half field now. They've got the momentum. They've got the personnel to just work it from here. And especially with the game, Colombia scored 2 in a row. Let's put one in. Anna decides to throw a huck, and it's a little windy. You can see it bounce a little bit. Probably in a no windy situation, that's a completed pass. But I think you got to just be a little more conservative there, and just put it in. Colombia's looking for an excuse to get the disc back, and just give them a little bit more life. So close there, great effort, but just a little too risky with the wind. All right, so now Colombia's got the disc. They're going more towards the upwind side. Manuela gets it. And remember I said that she's going to have to be strong with those backhands. Watch this. She unleashes one just perfect to the end zone. So, again, she had a couple turnovers early in the game. that certainly wouldn't have put them in this position if they had connected. But when the pressure was on, she made an incredible, just unleashes. Look at that power. Obviously keeps it on the field and just perfectly in stride. So again, Manuela's got to, she's got to shoot. And I think, she's going to need to for Colombia to stay with the U.S. But if she can be efficient and, pick her chances to do that, they're going to be right there. All right, so now it's double game point, and we're just going to watch this through because it's an awesome point and really fun to watch. So U.S. has the disc. They moving it up, and there's Manuela, just like first throw, almost gets it, just putting the pressure on, and Colombia is just swarming right now. You can just tell they've scored 3 in a row to get here. They got to score 4 in a row. There's another layout. You're going to see. And Valeria comes in with a layout D, just incredible. She just says, vamos. She's fired up, ready to go. And Claire makes a nice pass there, but you can see the receiver slows down. She slows down to catch it, and that allows Valeria to get in front of it and stick her hand there and get the D. If she was going to run through it, that would have made the difference. It would have made it a harder catch. Certainly there's some wind there. And that's where, the thrower's got to make a decision. Hey, is this tight enough? Where if she does slow down, she can make the catch. Certainly a lot of variables here with the wind. But again, that's what allowed Valerie to get there, is that the receiver slowed down and allowed that to happen. I mean, certainly an incredible play of athleticism. She's fired up. But you'll notice, again, the Cardenas sisters were really involved in so Manuela was super close at getting one, and Valeria came through with it. It was just awesome. So you're going to see Colombia, they're working it here. Now they're just reeling. They're fired up. They're going to be running just to score this. And you're going to see Manuela just around the disc the whole time. There's Yina. She's going to make a nice flick break here. Right there to Valeria. And then Valeria is going to throw a nice little flick right there. So obviously, I'm sure the U.S. team was a little stunned here. Colombia's fired up. But here's the thing. All the U.S. teams are trial-based. A lot of these players on the U.S. have not played with each other. This is the purpose of this, is that, the U.S. teams are getting reps to play with each other. A lot of the international teams, certainly the Colombian women in this case, a lot of them have played together before. A lot of them are from Medellin. So, it's not surprising that on their home turf, they gave them run for their money. When I was on the U.S. team in 2016, we played Canada in a universe point game. We ended up winning, but then we played them at the World Championships, and the score was a lot different. We beat them by a large margin. So, even though the U.S. team lost, I fully expect them to be a different team in Australia. I think the Colombian women will also be sharper. I expect both teams to be sharper. But I think the U.S. team was working out kinks because a lot of these players have not played with each other. So I am looking forward to watching this. I certainly, my grandmother was born in Colombia, so if I'm not rooting for the U.S., I certainly root for Colombia, but I'm obviously gunning for the U.S. here. But I think regardless, it's going to be a really exciting game to watch. So I hope you enjoyed this. I think this is going to be the game to watch. So if you are not planning on tuning into the World Ultimate Championships, it is going on. It literally is beginning. It just started. It'll go through the end of the week. And if we're lucky, we'll probably hopefully get to see these two teams square off in the finals. And if it's anything like the World Club Championships 2 years ago, that went down to Universe Point, and it was an absolute thriller. So make sure to tune in. Let me know in the comments for any other videos you want to see. Appreciate you guys watching. God bless. Talk to you soon.